Hello, everyone, and welcome to Window into the Seminary podcast. I'm here with Brother Camilo. Brother Camilo, we're really happy to have you here for another episode.
Thank you.
Brother Camilo, so you want to speak to us about Anna Karenina by Leon Tolstoy. This is a really famous book, but what fascinated you about it?
So when I was reading the book, I found that you can see the steps of the temptation in the book.
Temptation.
Yeah.
That was like one of the main things that you saw
Yeah,
during the
absolutely.
novel. Can you tell us a little bit about what happens in the book, how you saw this?
Okay, the main character in the book is Anna, Karenina. So Anna was in a difficult moment. She was married, but she didn't love her husband. So in moments of difficulties, we are more vulnerable to temptation. So in the history, she went to Moscow. Why? Because the marriage of her brother had problems. So he asked her to go to Moscow in order to talk with his wife.
The wife of her brother.
Of her brother, exactly. So in Moscow, she went to a party, and she met a young man called Bronsky. So this young man, Bronsky, fell in love of Anna, and Anna also fell in love with Bronsky. So when Anna realized that Bronsky loved her, she took the decision to leave Moscow. So she went to St. Petersburg. So St. Petersburg was the city when Anna leaves.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Bronsky in the book followed her.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see, and we can see in the book, that when we have temptation, the best option is to run, to go out of the temptation. It's very important. And Anna did that. So Anna left the temptation, and apparently in the book we can see think that, okay, now Anna is safety, but not. What happened later? So in St. Petersburg, Anna saw her husband. He was an old man, 20 years older than Anna. You can imagine this contrast,
Mm-hmm.
the difference of in the ages. So, and she started to think again the temptation, like, okay, my husband is an old man. I'm still young. I can be happy. So she fell in the temptation.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently she was safety.
She was safe. She was safe.
She was safe, exactly. And now again, you can see that we cannot play with the temptation. It's dangerous to play with the temptation. So she fell in love, Bronsky, and now they were lovers,
Mm-hmm.
as you can see. So she left her family, and she left obviously her husband and her son.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see the steps of the temptation. First, you have in front of you the temptation. If you are in a difficult moment, you are more vulnerable to temptation. And we can run, we can go out of the temptation, but we always we can have temptation every moment, every day. So it's not like, okay, I have temptation and now I can go out and that's it. No, we need to fight, to fight every day because it's dangerous. To think, to talk with temptation.
Yes. It's a little bit similar. It came to my mind when Jesus went to the desert, because he went for 40 days fasting. So you could say that he was in a position of vulnerability, because he was hungry, he was probably tired, and the devil comes and tempts him 3 times, right?
Yeah.
And in one of those, he said, turn these rocks into bread. But then Jesus said that man doesn't live of bread alone. So what does this teaches us? Like you say, temptation is something that we all go through. And we have to face it. And when we face it, God gives us the help that we need to overcome it. But also something really interesting from this is that Leo Tolstoy, he's not judging Anna Karenina. Because in this case, as we see, it's infidelity. But through the book, you understand what's going on inside of her. And this is something particular of the Russian authors. They focus a lot on the inner life of the characters. So they're really psychological, and they give you an insight into what is going on inside of the character. Because at the end of the day, it's not about judging the person. Because in this case, Anna Karenina, she was in a difficult situation. Because as you say, the husband was 20 years older, the marriage wasn't a happy marriage. A little bit, if I'm not mistaken, it was a forced marriage. It wasn't voluntary. She had to marry this person. So all those things, at the end of the day, Anna Karenina wasn't happy. And so when she goes and she visits her brother, and she meets Bronsky, it's like a spark comes, right? It's like, oh, like it feels again that attraction when you first fall in love, right? And in this case, she did the right thing. She went away, as you said. So she ran from temptation, but the temptation followed her because Bronsky was trying to seduce her, was trying to get her. And at the end of the day, he succeeded. So it's really interesting to see. And the book is really long as well. So it gives you, it deals a lot. It's not just something that happens from one chapter to the other, but it's the process, right? Like the way the author describes what is going on. Now that we have talked about what happened to her, is there another marriage in the book that gives another example?
Yes, for Ricardo, we can see another marriage, like is Levin is another character in the book. He fell in love with Kitty, and she was the girlfriend of Bronsky. So you can see the connection in the stories of Anna and with this other marriage. So in the first time, he went to Moscow and he declared his love to Kitty, and Kitty said no. I'm with Bronsky, and so sorry, but I cannot be your wife. So he left Moscow like alone, and he was thinking in his house about the life, about the future, about religion. And then when Vronsky left Kitty, so you can see how Levin and Kitty, they had the same situation. They were thinking in life, in the life, and in the future. So almost in the middle of the book, Levin went to Moscow, and again he saw Kitty. And he declared again his love to Kitty, and in this time Kitty said, yes, I want to be your wife. So Tolstoy, he wrote in the book these two kind of lives, Anna and Levin, and because you can see the some similitudes between the Anna and Levin. So Levin was alone, like Anna was alone, because, okay, she had a family, but she had the feeling that she was alone because her old husband. So Anna fell in temptation, Levin no. He went to Moscow again, and now in the book he was a good husband to Kitty. So now Levin and Kitty, they were a good marriage, and they work in the future of a family. Levin, obviously, he had moments with temptation. He met Anna in a part of the book, and also he fell in love. He fell in love of Anna. Anna was beautiful, but in this moment in the book, he was thinking in his wife Kitty, and he realized that no, I'm the husband of Kitty. My first responsibility is Kitty and my son. So you can see in this character in the book, like the personification, like of Tolstoy himself. Levin is Tolstoy in the book, and is when you are reading the story of Levin, you are reading the story of Tolstoy. That is incredible in the book. So as you said, and at the end of the book, Anna committed suicide. And okay, Anna is the main character of the book. Why she committed suicide?
Suicide, yeah.
And why the end of the book is with Levin and his family. So and you can see that the steps of the temptation. When we are following the temptation, our ending will be a bad ending.
A destruction.
A destruction. But when we are fighting for the good, our ending will be a good end. So I think that Tolstoy wanted to show us the that in the book.
Yes, that's really interesting, Brother Camilo. So at the end of the day, faithfulness is a big topic in this book, because it portrays in these opposite marriages, where one is from adultery basically, and that ends up really bad, and the other one has a happy ending. It doesn't mean that they don't go through struggles, as you say, but overcoming the struggles and fighting for that relationship, they have a better ending, right? So I just want to end this podcast with two things that can help us to be more faithful in our relationships, in our daily life. And the first one is renewal. Now, this is something that can be done every day. What does renewal mean? Well, when you wake up, for example, us in the consecrated life, and think about God, right? And say, God, I want to offer you this day again, just like the first one, because you're renewing that first love every day, and that is so important in the things that you do. And then the second one, to beat temptation, is to think about your loved ones in the moment of temptation, Because as you said with Levin, he was in a moment of temptation, but he thought about his wife and his kids. And that gave him the strength to not succumb to the temptation. So I think this has been really helpful, Bro Camilo, and it's a great book, really famous book. So thank you so much for speaking about it and for helping us to meditate on this.
Thank you.